Redbeard.
I'm John Anderson of Yes with Redbeard.
I'm Tony Kay of Yes.
This is Trevor Rabin of Yes. You're in the studio.
Thank you all. The big band with the little three-letter name decided to follow their enormous comeback with 90125 and the subsequent world tour with the album Big Generator in 1987. Here's Yes guitarist Steve Howe, followed by drummer Alan White.
It's sort of musical mayhem, if you like. Trevor Horn had a lovely way of putting it. He said, the epitome of Yes is to try and do the impossible and make it work. And like very often, the things that we did, like three lines going at once and somebody else singing, and
you get shell shock afterwards.
It isn't a thing that a lot of groups want to do, or maybe could do, or would care to do. But it happens that this group called Yes, that's changed. It's evolved. A lot has always wanted to do what other people don't want to do. It's almost like the most obstinate group you could find.
Didn't always work. I mean, some things were like...
Oh, no, sometimes
it's so chaotic. It was...
And sometimes it's become more accessible, and that also... I mean, that's part of it's changing, if you like. When I was in Asia, funny enough, Yes were becoming more like a group that were actually going for the charts. But wanting to keep the ideas that they had, but developing. I mean, in a way, in the 70s, we never really thought like that. But I appreciate how much the 80s were very different from the 70s, and the concession, not really concessions, but the necessity for a group to carry on successfully is that if it's not successful, they won't carry on. Now, if you've got that as a challenge. Look, if the group's not successful, we've got to stop. And the group's got to be successful because you've got to keep it going. So in a way, you have to find out how to keep it going, and part of that is having success, which is the thing everybody wants, especially in LA. So it's like you're trying to do the impossible again, but in a way, without playing music that would cheapen the idea of what Yes is.
Sometimes falls apart.
Rhythm of Love comes from the 1987 Yes Big Generator album, but the big expectations for it exceeded actual sales. Like water finding every crack, the old creative and personality conflicts reared up once again, with lead singer John Anderson leaving again and taking guitar Steve Howe with him to join former Yes men Rick Wakeman and Bill Bruford to record and tour as...
Yeah, Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman and Howe. It's like a firm of solicitors, you know.
Yeah, a law firm, right?
Yeah, you can't get a longer name than that.
No.
So it just seemed it was just a tag, really. But inside, you know, people would ask me, what do I do? And I say, I'm a musician, I work in a group. What's the group called? I'd always say yes. The most important thing for me was seeing two sides of the coin. I had a 90125 big generator group, and which was and is an incredibly powerful unit with Alan, Chris and Trevor and Tony. And to work with Steve and Rick and Bill again, and we had Tony Levin on bass, there was a lot of finesse there. And in some ways, I could say, well, I miss the heaviness of Chris and Trevor and Alan. And then when I'm with Chris and Trevor and Alan, sometimes I miss a little finesse. It's just the way, the makeup of these musicians is extraordinary. And I was very fortunate to work with both teams.
So then it got really crazy. For the 1991 album Union, keyboardist Tony Kaye joins John Anderson and me in the studio.
Just like he appeared during the 90125 album.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I think in many ways we kind of stumble along.
It's true. Looking for an opening.
Looking for an opening.
It's like getting a table
at
a restaurant.
I don't think anyone really thinks about it. It's not like, the phone calls are made.
Yeah,
and
it would never happen.
It would never happen like that. It has to happen by stumbling along and even if it's separately, to go through a period of writing music. And then somehow at the end of that period, just like it did in 90125 and probably before in certain ways, different ways, it stumbles along to the necessary right conclusion.
To stay. Gotta hate this town, depending on the day. You look me up, you look me down. Alright, okay. What I got no life, I got no hope of falling in love. Help me through the fight, help me win tonight. I'm calling, what to do, I find it hard to know. The road I walk is not the one I chose. through the fight. Help me win tonight. I'm calling, calling. What to do? I find it hard to know. I want to turn my life around. Lift me up and turn me over. Lead me on into the door. Take me to the highest mountain. Tie me up, love in a storm. Have you decided on my fortune? Facing the future in your eyes. With your imperial behavior, we might reach the battle prize. Open doors that may be closed to me. The fire's still burning in my heart. Lift me up and turn me over. Don't turn away. Lead me on into the door. Lead me on, lead me on. Take me to the highest mountain. Tie me up, love in a
Composers Trevor Rabin and the late Chris Squire discussed the song Lift Me Up.
And once again, lyrically in the verse, a little dark. We try to make it somewhat vague as to what it's about, but one of the pictures is that it's, a homeless person, and, I look around, I got nowhere to stay, you look me up, you look me down, the guy who goes into the restaurant to use the bathroom, and they look at him, no, you can't come in here. And then he just looks to the sky, lift me up and turn me over, help me out. So
that's
but
actually
landing
really,
up,
it actually is pretty specifically
it's
about
pretty
that.
specific, but we didn't mention specifically homeless because it could be about,
Keeps it broader.
keeps it a little broader. But that's what it was intended for. That's how we
It was the
kind of
focus.
that was the focus. Yeah.
I think I think definitely the Yes theme has always been a hopeful one. I think rather than the light and dark. I think we've used dark expressionism in order to show the difference between the good and evil, or light and dark, whichever way it is. But usually even if the songs refer to darkness, it's because there's a positive attitude at the end of it.
Still to come, Trevor Rabin and Chris Squire there are joined by John Anderson. Follow In the Studio on Facebook and visit inthestudio.net for even more. I'm Redbeard, in the studio with Ultimate Yes Part 2.